Christmas carols didn't begin as gentle hymns sung by choirs. They began as lively medieval dance songs. The word itself comes from an old French term for a ring dance, and for centuries, a carol simply meant a festive tune people sang as they moved in a circle at feasts or seasonal gatherings. These early songs weren't tied to Christmas at all. They were part of the rhythm of the year, rooted in the countryside and carried by ordinary people who sang to mark the passing of the seasons. At first, the church kept these songs at arm's length. Anything that smacked of dancing or folk custom was seen as far too rowdy for sacred spaces. Yet the popularity of these songs only grew. By the 13th century, attitudes began to shift, thanks in large part to Saint Francis of Assisi, who encouraged simple, joyful nativity songs in local languages. His influence opened the door for Christmas-themed carols to emerge, giving everyday people a way to celebrate the birth of Christ in their own words and melodies, rather than in the more formal Latin chants of the Church. By the late medieval period, England had embraced the carol as a Christmas tradition. Manuscripts from the time show songs ranging from deeply religious pieces to lively midwinter tunes celebrating feasting, good fortune, or the simple joy of the season. These carols were not confined to churches. They were sung in manor houses, marketplaces, and even in the streets. But the stability of this tradition didn't last. The upheavals of the Reformation and later the strict Puritan rule under Cromwell brought an abrupt change. Christmas itself fell out of official favor, and with it, the singing of carols. Many old songs retreated into private spaces, kept alive in homes, inns, and rural communities long after they disappeared from public life. Then came the Victorian era, a period that reshaped Christmas into something recognizable to us today. The Victorians had a fondness for rediscovering old traditions, polishing them, and presenting them anew. In the early 1800s, collectors began gathering ancient carols, publishing them, and encouraging a revival. Choirs took them up, churches reintroduced them, and composers wrote fresh melodies that soon became classics in their own right. What had once been rustic and occasionally rough around the edges became a central, respectable part of Christmas celebrations. The Victorians turned carols into something both nostalgic and aspirational, music that united communities in faith and festivity. Running alongside this musical story is the older, earthier tradition of wassailing. Long before carol singing took its polished Victorian form, groups of friends and neighbors would go door to door in midwinter, offering good wishes in exchange for a drink, a bite to eat, or a small gift. The word wassail comes from an Old Norse toast that meant "be healthy," and the tradition held both social and practical value. It strengthened community bonds, especially during the harsh winter months, and it offered poorer families a chance to share in the season's abundance. Wassailing took two distinct forms. In towns and villages, people would visit homes with songs and well-wishes, carrying a shared bowl of spiced ale or cider. In the countryside, particularly in the apple-growing regions of the West Country, people performed orchard wassailing, blessing the trees for a strong harvest in the coming year. They poured cider on the roots, fired shots into the branches to chase away evil spirits, and hung pieces of toast as offerings. These rituals were part celebration, part superstition, and part community insurance policy. If the trees thrived, everyone benefited. Wassailing could be warm and friendly, but it could also turn boisterous. In some places, it acted as a quiet negotiation between rich and poor. We come in good cheer, but don't send us empty-handed. This door-to-door singing eventually blended with early Christmas songs, shaping the form of communal midwinter music that preceded caroling as we know it. Over time, as Christmas regained its place in British life, these strands, medieval dance songs, nativity plays, Folk customs, wassailing rounds, and revived church music slowly wove together. By the 19th century, the pieces had merged into a tradition that felt ancient yet freshly imagined. Caroling stepped out from taverns and village greens into churches, schools, and high streets. It became a bridge between sacred celebration and community festivity. Today, when people gather to sing in the cold air of a December evening, they're taking part in a tradition shaped by centuries of change. Each carol carries echoes of medieval merriment, the resilience of communities who kept the music alive through suppression, and the Victorian appetite for reinventing old customs. And beneath it all lies the same impulse that has guided midwinter celebrations for 1,000 years, the desire to push back the darkness with light, voices, warmth, and the simple human act of singing together.